Hello and welcome to Tekkit Creative. I'm Xaphan, and this time we're going to begin building the main city for the kingdom of Cadia. This is what I call my world, and this city has already got its outer structure completed, a hexagon, where the north, east and facing walls are 100 blocks, and the connecting walls are 80. Gives the hexagon its shape, and this is going to eventually be built up and create a dome over the entire city. So the city will be in perpetual darkness. I've got no name for the city yet, but we'll come up with one as it is built. This should be fun. Let's get started. I've got to start with the 3 watchtowers and the 1 entry tower. Okay, so with the first tower, I thought I wanted to make it 13 across, so I checked on Google for the circle diagram for Minecraft. Easy to find, just put in circular templates for Minecraft and you'll get an image pretty quickly. And I started building. Now, I did go wrong quite a few times, I have to admit. But once I put in the foundations for this first tower, I just went round making sure it all looked neat and tidy, and then I continued on. Okay, so the recording messed up on this one, so I'm going to have to show you what I did with the build. For the base, I created some legs that are still fencing. All the legs are exactly the same, some of them are partially concealed. However, they are identical. Oops. Until I did that. Up the top here, where this frame reaches the top, I built a support frame out of the steel fencing, iron fencing, I can't remember which it is, and then built the initial frame. Another circular tower, though this one, because it's now hanging above the jungle, will be a very short tower, more like a lookout building rather than a tower itself. Okay, so then I went on to the northeast of the main walls and began building the final tower for the, well, watchtowers basically. This one was built exactly the same size, and well, after a few little mess ups that I kept making, I finally got it finished. Went round neatening everything up again, and the foundations for that one is in. Okay, after that I followed on over to the large peaks near the city itself and started trimming off. This is all just to make a base layer because this tower is going to be a lot bigger. Suffice to say, this tower is designed for multiple purposes. It's also a watchtower, but it's also then works as the way into the city itself. Now this will be done in a separate video, sorting out the method for getting to the city and everything. So for now, I'm just going to finish building this tower completely. This tower is taking a hexagon shape rather than a circular shape like the last few, and will then be designed with various features to make it not look like such a plain straight up tower. Now as you can see, I had to play about a little bit trying to get the shape right. It took a while. In the end I think I completely trimmed that tree down, but I got there and it finally came together. Okay, so once the foundation walls were in, I then set about going below those walls to bring it down the mountain, and just to tidy everything up, make it look like it was a solid tower. As you can see, I did not enjoy building in the rain or the night, so I occasionally you'll spot me change the time. This took me a fair while to do, but once it was all in, I was ready to continue and put in the walls up. Okay, so once I finished the taller walls, I then set about with marble brick once again to make the floor, removing all the soil and stone that I didn't need, and then placing in the marble. Now once again, I'm not a very steady click, so there's quite a few times I was placing blocks where I didn't want to. Happily though, this was not the job that took the longest. Now I'm just getting the height of the tower that I want. Okay, with the walls built on the sides up, I began adding stone brick to make the walls less flat, give some unique design to them. Now I did this straight away on the northeast and the west facing walls. Didn't do it on the south, as that would be where the entranceway actually into the tower is. Now I'm experimenting a little bit here, not entirely sure what I want to do to get its shape. In the end I feel that here at the north point it's just that little bit too low at first, so I bring it up a bit higher until I get to the height that I want it to be on all sides. And then I head down and remove a bit. And this little removal is just that I've decided I want a bit more of the mountain there. So using soil I create a new mountain face against the tower's edge. I didn't bother using grass covered blocks because grass will grow on there eventually anyway, so best off just use the soil and let it do its thing. Okay, so once I had it done on all sides, I then went ahead and began building the doorway. Now I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the doorway. I had a sliding door idea in my mind, so I just built the balcony for now and opened up an area for where the door could be. Finally, using a few setting blocks, I put in some stone upside down brick steps. That was a mouthful. Just to arrange it so it had a nice edge to it. Wasn't all looking plain and flat. I hate that. After that I went on to build the rest of the wall's edges. Now this was going to create lookout points. And since I didn't want the lookout points being part of the top of the tower, I decided to use these stone bricks to build an outermost sort of very small balcony, creating the edge, while at the lower bit creating something that looked like the top would be. Now admittedly, after I did this the first few times, I started realising there was a much easier way for me to have done that, which was to put this top stone brick steps in first. But I didn't think, so I did it this way. And there we have it, the first one is made. Okay, the next thing I had to do was add the doors in, so I quickly added that. Simple feature for a sliding door. I'll tell you what, it's made a lot easier with Tekkit, so I can show you how that's been done. Bit of redstone wire just led down, using a 3-stage redstone torch switch system, which is the way I prefer to do it. It goes a long way down, but takes a lot less space up, so I tend to do it that way. And then the redstone just leading the way for the pressure pads. As you can tell, this is where the wall ends, and this is where the switches at the front of the tower is. Result being, I had to put 2 stones a bit further out just to cover it up. Actually, I've just had a better idea for covering it. No one can ever tell me this doesn't come in handy. There we are, you can barely even tell it's there. How great is that? Just gotta catch it from the side to spot it's there. Alright, time to continue. Okay, so the next thing for me was to actually build the archway for the door. Now, I wanted this to fit in with the pattern of the other edges of the tower, but at the same time, it's got to hold the door in it, and as you can tell with the door's positioning, that makes it a little bit awkward. So I came up with another vented style. Now you probably see a lot of vents from me because I love creating this sort of vented grille appearance on towers, so I apologise if I overdo it in some places. Now at the moment I'm experimenting with just getting it look neat and tidy. Put the 3 vents in above. Oh, I ended up putting 4. And then I went and made the final lookout peak. All lookouts complete. I went on to continue to build up the walls that weren't finished yet. With those completed, I then went and put in the windows and also added the final touch for the wall's appearance using orange redstone lamps. This was to change up the feel of the tower because at the moment it's looking very rustic, and I like combining a bit of the old modern with a bit of rustic appearance. To me, everything needs a match-up. Can't have too much of one style now, can you? Now I realised there when I put in that torch that it was a bit too close to the actual doorway switching. So in the end I chose to remove the lower 3 that were near the doorway itself. Now in a bit I'll be able to show you exactly how I'm going to cover up all the redstone wire that's used to light these up. And I'll tell you now, that took a very, very long time. And look, it started raining again, and I turned it off again. Typical me. In goes the glass. Now I use glass panes because although I thought about using glass blocks, I wanted the windows to seem indented, so this seemed the easiest manner for me. Okay, so after that, I put in the redstone wire, and at this point, I was thinking I'm going to put these on a switch so that they can be turned off and link them all together. Didn't take me long, however, to see a bit of an issue with this idea. So, instead, I decided to link them all up at first, in their relative corners this is. And then, after having them all linked up, I fed the redstone wire underneath to a redstone torch. Now this was so that they would stay permanently lit, but if I wanted to put in a switch at any point, I had more than enough ability to do so. Could quite easily put a switch in on the north facing wall, for example. With them all linked up, it wouldn't take me much to put a bit more redstone wire across from the east and the west walls and put a switch in the middle. Now at this point, I started using brick slabs just to cover up where all the redstone wire is. Now because of how awkward these can be to place, it took me a very long time to do. The result being, I'm only going to show a little bit of this being done, as in the end it did take me an hour. Fun times. Okay, with all the wires covered up there, I began the inside of the doorway. Now this I chose to just use ordinary blocks at first, just to cover it all up, and to give me a shape to use. I had the idea of using half slabs and torches on top to give a lighted area there. However, as you'll see shortly, I then chose that this idea wasn't exactly the best idea to use, and went with a more fiery idea. So as you can see, I've built up the inside a little bit like the outside is. Put in my torches, which are also there to stop mobs from spawning inside the place. But then replace it with netherrack, and just lighten to create a nice torched area above the doorway. Now I know my sense of style isn't for everyone, but hey, what can you do? Okay, so after finishing the doorway, I went on to build the wooden platforms for the upper level. Now I placed these blocks literally at the underside of the windows because I wanted there to be a nice good view out the window. So you can stand right in the window and see everything. Wouldn't be too good if you had weaponry coming at you, but hey, this place is supposed to be peaceful. And the floor design, I had the idea of putting in a symbol that comes from somewhere else, but in the end, I just left it as the sort of plus cross, and left it as that. I might put glass in there later, but I'm undecided. Right, now I've gone back to the panels again, and this is just there to cover up the ladder that leads to the upper section. Just because I don't think having a ladder on view all the time is great, and also it's quite easy to slip off a ladder, but by putting these panels either side where the ladder's going, it becomes almost impossible to slip off for a start, and also much safer if you're climbing up it and someone's trying to snipe you. Now these ladders will be going all the way to the roof, so right now I'm just coming up and bringing them to the top of the windows. Having finished that part, I went on to put the roof in. Now the roof I made solid, as I'm going to be having another torch stand right in the middle. Not actual torches, using netherrack again, but you understand when you see it. So for now, I just placed in the old bricks again. All seems one colour at the moment, but I'll put a change to that in a second. Finish off the lookout points and building the final walls. And to change these walls up a little bit, I just placed some more bricks on the edges, give a bit of a castle appearance to them. I'll then use stone brick rods, no, it's more panels again, to create a final shape to them. For now though, I'm only putting in stone brick slabs to variate the colour a little bit. You'll find that I have a right habit of renaming things the way I like to call them, because it just makes them identify them quicker. There we are, getting the old strips, or panel strips as I just noticed they're called. Placing around the edges just to create a shape, and I'll also put them on the lower section of those bricks to complete the walls outer design. Okay, to finish off the roof, I just head straight up and break some holes through to finish off the ladders. Once back on the roof, I'll then put the torch in. Now, I didn't want this to look plain and boring, but I didn't want something huge and extravagant. So, I started off by finding the center and just placing a few blocks in around the edges just to give it some shape. Remove the central bricks and put in netherrack. This will be the lit area. Now the strips I'm putting in at the moment, I was just tinkering with an idea, but in the end I chose to remove those. And I built a roof over the top of this torch. Now this roof, I chose that it should provide some shelter from the rain that you can see I'm building in again. I love the rain. And also have a vent in the middle so that the rain could actually get down onto the flames, just to create a bit of a sound effect there. Sound of sizzling water. It's a leveler. I thought about putting this fencing in. Once I noticed it wouldn't work the way I wanted it to, I just removed it, lit the torches, and tried putting in the iron bars on the sides. Once again, didn't quite work the way I wanted it to, so I left that out. Once I was happy with the way the top and the actual bars looked, I put in the final features on the edges, just to give an area where you could sit on, and finalised it like that. So, with the entrance tower completed, all I've got to do is now finish off the method for getting into the city from this tower, and also maybe finish off the decorations on the inside. I also have to build up the bridge to the tower entrance. So until next time, ciao for now.